Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Leanne, Brandon, Jamie, Lynn, and Octavia's presentation. We're presenting continuing with provisional development, also in small little layman's terms, CPD. The agenda for today will be what is CPD, why is CPD necessary, the approaches to CPD, the organization in SA that requires CPD, SABPP competency model, and the developing a CPD strategy. So sit back and relax, and I'll take you through what is CPD. Let's start to think about our careers and where we are today. We are SPTech students, and lucky enough, or because we work so hard, we completed our 4-year studies in our diploma, and now we're in the industry of human resource management. How are we going to equip ourselves in the years to come? How are we going to keep ourselves on track, knowing the legislations? And here, our Chief HR Officer tells you, Brandon, please appear at the CCMA to represent the organization. I cannot, because I didn't follow a personal CPD strategy. So, what is CPD? CPD stands for Continuing Professional Development. CPD is a term used to describe the learning activities professionals like us engage in to develop and enhance their abilities. It enables learning to become conscious and proactive rather than passive and reactive. The textbook pointed out so clearly that nobody expects a doctor, accountant, or a lawyer who rely on decades solely the knowledge and understanding which was available at the time when they began their career. Does that not remind us of ourselves? The day we began our career, or entered our career, apologies. So, first of all, what is CPD? These 4 sections that we broke it up to. CPD combines different methodologies to learn. Number 1, training workshops. I remind you, the training workshops I've been on, the Labour Relations Act. Legislation is changing, and we need to keep updated with it. Conference and events, e-learning programs, and best practice techniques and idea sharing. So why is CPD necessary? Well, I'll just explain one reason why it is necessary. If Mr. Moses was here to CCMA, I do not understand and not know what to say. So, engaging in CPD activities ensure that both academic and practical qualifications do not become outdated. So we need to stay indated or absolute, allowing individuals to continuously upskill or reskill themselves regardless of occupation, age, or educational levels. Structured CPD helps employees. Do you think it helps employees? Of course. After this, I will touch on the benefits, how it works for employers. So, for the organization, benefits: maximizing potential, knowledge economy, learning and development, culture, goals, plans and development, planning and promotion. So I know I want to put Leanne in this position. She's upskilled herself, she worked hard, she kept up with the CPD program. Recruitment and retention helps. Leave me in profile of org will stand out. The industry practice will be on higher par. Well, of course, the benefit the individual. I could be standing and telling you a story in 15 years and say, I got to that point of time from following a correct structured CPD system. The place I knew I need to develop myself. I identified skills and knowledge. My planning process worked. I got guidance, ability to access learning outcomes. Actively committed to CPD. Now you look at these points and it will make you think of LinkedIn. And I can show in case my LinkedIn profile, and of course enhance my CV for what I know now, what I've developed, confirm professional recognition, showcase achievements, accelerate career prospects, enables a person myself to command a better salary and benefits. Don't we all? Ensure greater job satisfaction. So, I'll hand over to Leanne. She'll be doing the CPD approaches. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Leanne. Thank you, Brandon, for that interactive definition of CPD. I was thinking about CPD approaches. It's basically a mixture of approaches, ideas and techniques. It's management of individual learning and growth. This will benefit you in your personal development within the workplace. Its emphasis is on results. We need to remember that with the CPD concept, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It depends on your career goals as well as your ambitions in the workplace and how you strive to enhance your career. There are 7 different forms of CPD. You will notice within the elaboration of the approaches that it's quite common, it's general knowledge, but you might not have known that there is actually a term for CPD. We start with formal courses. At CPUT, we are currently enlisted in a formal course. We are completing our BTEC in HRM. CPUT is accredited, such as UCT as well. These formal courses can be on a Saturday or it can be in the weekday. And the hours are basically stipulated by the tertiary institution. Provision for the ongoing education of professionals outside formal academic courses. It includes subjects that will benefit people in the work environment and the occupational workshops and seminars. This is an educational event that is short term. It's usually 1 day or 5 days. It's determined by your work environment or by the type of training that you are attending. It is experiential learning. Basically, this is learning through experience, which involves role-playing and scenario-based discussions. It takes place in a classroom with a facilitator, and the learners gather in a single physical location. The venue setting is determined by the facilitator. It can either be a U shape or a V shape. The educational setting is defined by the student's intent. This basically means that the student determines how the training will take place by their feedback and as well as the guidance of the facilitator. You will notice that on the slide at the bottom, there are a few distant learning educational facilities. Distant learning is also part of CPD. It involves a facilitator and learners, but the setting is quite different because it's independent. It's basically a lot of people that are in the working environment and they don't have time to attend full-time studies. They go to places like UNISA, Get Smarter, which is affiliated with UCT, Lyceum, which focuses on government, and Dublin as well. Conferences. I'm sure that all of you have attended a conference since you are all working class people and we all are doing our degree, which basically means that sometime in our careers we should have attended a conference. With the conferences, it creates prospects for CPD because you are basically doing networking. You can select different workshops and different streams, which allows you for social interaction with many people from different work environments, different training environments, and your personal network could allow you to create and form bonds with people that can assist you with your CPD for future or for current work situations. Okay. Tutorials, independent study and reading. Tutorials are basically face-to-face. It's electronic interaction, research, reading or studying. Here you will sit with a tutor and they will basically explain the current study work, and it will involve some reading and research as well. Independent study and reading involves total work completed by the student. Basically, within our BTEC here, we are currently busy with independent study and reading because when we prepare for any assessment, be it an assignment, be it an exam, we participate with independent studying and reading. Presentations, publishing, mentoring and coaching. Presentations and publishing, this is basically a paper or it's writing an article or a chapter in a book. It involves extensive research and study. Basically, you will notice that quite common in certain training textbooks, our lecturer, Mr. Kali, always contributes to certain chapters in textbooks. He contributed in management of training too. So this is basically publishing presentations. This is what we're busy with today in the form of our CPD. Mentoring and coaching, it's done by a professional person. The mentor basically aims to provide career advice and training to someone who has a lower skill level and allows him to enhance their current work situation by providing theory as well as practical learning knowledge. The relationship needs to be well structured and supportive to provide opportunities for an effective CPD. I will now hand over to Jamie.
Good day, I'm Jamie. So I'll be focusing on organizations that require CPD. Okay, so basically all professionals for a wide variety of people such as teachers, doctors, military officers, non-commissioned officers, lawyers, social workers all require CPD training for their further career development within their specific field. Individuals may participate in professional development because of an interest in a life learning and a sense of moral obligation to maintain and improve professional competence, to enhance career progression, to keep abreast of new technologies and practices within a specific field, or comply with professional and regulatory requirements. South African nurses, as well as those across the world, all have to form part of continuous training. More so doctors and military personnel, because of ongoing enhancement within their specific fields. Okay, the outcome. Well-crafted and delivered continuing professional development is important because it delivers benefits to the individual, the profession and the public. The ultimate outcome of a well-planned continuing professional development is that it safeguards the public, the employer, the profession and the professional's career. CPD ensures your capabilities are kept abreast with current standards of others in the same field. Relevance. What is the relevance and effectiveness of CPD? CPD is ensured that you maintain and enhance the knowledge and skills you either need to deliver or a service to your customers, clients and the community. CPD ensures that you stay relevant and up to date. You are more aware of the changing trends and directions in your profession. The pace of change is probably faster than it's ever been. And this is a feature of a new normal that we live and work in today. CPD helps you continue to make a meaningful contribution to your team, the sector that you work in, or your company. You become more effective within the workplace. This assists you to enhance your career and move into positions where you can lead, manage, influence, and coach and mentor others. The importance of CPD should not be underestimated. It is a career-long obligation of practicing professionals. So basically, the onus is on the individual self. If you don't want to learn, you will stay behind, and others will overtake you. Sometimes it is mandated by professionals in organizations or required by codes of conduct, codes of ethic, but it is the core of a person's responsibility of professionals to keep their knowledge and skills current so that they can deliver the best, high quality, relevant services that safeguards the public and meets the expectations of the consumer and the requirements of the profession. I will now be handing over to Lynn.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lynn Isaacs. I'll be taking you through the SABPP competency model. The SABPP stands for the South African Board for People Practices. It is a professional and a quality assurance body for human resources learning. They also accredit higher education curricula for human resources management as well as industrial psychology. The SABPP has also implemented a competency model, as you see on the board. And the purpose of this model is to define what type of skills that HR professionals should deliver and possess. And also this model serves as a foundation for CPD learning. So in order for them to design the competency model, they had to consider a few things, such as the model had to consist of all HR functions, elements and components. It also incorporates the best elements of worldwide competency models. Even though it's worldwide, it's still relevant to South Africa as it has a local focus. It consists of a balance of personal, business and HR competencies. It incorporates the needs and requirements of current and the future HR operating environment, and it should also easily be implemented by all HR professionals in any organization. Okay, so the competency model consists of 4 pillars. The first one being duty to society. So as HR professionals, you have an obligation to deliver high quality work, which will inevitably be positive to the society. Then the second pillar is ethics. So in an organization, HR is seen as the role models for ethics in the environment, which means that you need to be the leaders and also implement this in the organization. The third pillar you have is professionalism. So this is, as an HR professional, you need to conduct yourself in a professional manner. So this also means that the type of work and the quality of work you produce, it should also reflect your professionalism. Then the last pillar is HR and business knowledge. So in order for HR professionals to be strategic business partners, they need to have sound knowledge of the business as well as the HR profession. Then the competency model also consists of a few competencies. There are 5. So the first one being leadership and personal credibility. So as HR professionals, you should be able to execute, once again, high levels of work. Through your high levels of work, you prove your competency and therefore your credibility within the organization. The next one is organizational capability. So as HR professionals, you need to understand the environment of the organization that you work for. Therefore, once you understand the environment, you are able to effectively implement HR practices within that organization. Then the next one is solution creation and implementation. So once again, high levels of work. Through your high levels of work, you prove your competency and therefore your credibility within the organization. The next one is organizational capability. So as HR professionals, you need to understand the environment of the organization that you work for. Therefore, once you understand the environment, you are able to effectively implement HR practices within that organization. Then the next one is solution creation and implementation. So once you have the good understanding of the business and of the HR department within that business, you are able to effectively implement solutions, interventions, as well as HR practices. Then interpersonal and communication skills, this is a very good skill that you need to have to build that relationship with your employees. To have a good relationship with your employees means that productivity in your organizations will increase. And then the last one is citizenship for the future. So as HR professionals, we have to ensure sustainability of the organization as well as the environment. So this is, they look to you for innovation and to optimize on technology. Then also in the competency model, there are capabilities. There's also 5 capabilities. So the first one is strategy. So this is where HR professionals need to align the HR department strategy with the overall business strategy to ensure that everyone is working towards one common goal. Second one is talent management. HR professionals are responsible to implement talent management within the organization. So this is recruiting the right people for the right jobs at the right time. The Then the next one is HR governance, risk and compliance. So as an HR professional, we also have the responsibility and obligation to manage risks in the business and to ensure the compliance to law, which is like your labor law, BCA, etc. The fourth one is analytics and measurement. So as an HR professional, you need to ensure that HR has an impact on the organization. Therefore, you should, as HR, you can implement systematic and integrated approaches within the organization. And then the last one is HR service delivery. So this is, once again, it speaks to the goods and services that you provide to the employees, which should be of a good and high quality, and you need to be able to meet the expectations of all stakeholders within the organization. So the SABPP competency model serves as a benchmark to all HR professionals within South Africa. Therefore, to be a successful HR professional, you need to be able to have these capabilities and competencies. Thank you. I'll now hand over to Octavia.
Thank you, Lynn. Good day, everyone. My name is Octavia Berange. I'll be talking to you today about the CPD design strategy. Of course, the word strategy gives rise to a plan, CPD plan. The CPD has proven to work best when it's documented. Not only it is useful for accountability, but for the purposes of following the following questions, which questions must be asked for the following elements in order to ensure that the plan is proper. What does the employee need to learn and why? What will the employee do to achieve this? What resources or support is the employee going to require? What is the success criteria, the outcomes based? What is the return on investment to the company? Targets, dates for review and completion. What benefits does this plan have to the employer organization? The different bodies for different industries apply, and the onus is on the employee to reflect on the current role. Identify the professional learning needs, identify suitable bodies for different industries apply, but the onus is on the employee to reflect on the current role. The employee needs to identify the professional learning needs, as well as identify the suitable CPD activities. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, where does the employee want to be at the end of the specified period? Prioritize, the employee needs to prioritize, identify which needs are to be dealt with urgency. SMART goals is one of the most important things. The employee needs to be specific. We all understand what SMART means. The employee needs to be specific. The goals needs to be measured. The goals needs to be action-orientated, realistic, and time-focused goals. In order to attain these goals, that is my question number 2, what does the employee need to do? The employee needs to identify the resources they will require. In some companies that have embraced CPD, a mentor will obviously form part of the process. And some companies even go to the extent of employing a coach to assist with CPD. Success must be measured periodically. How do we measure that? It also allows you to adjust and to make developments within your CPD program. Most importantly, how is this going to equip you in the working environment? That is the questions you need to ask. Do you find the learning activity satisfying during the evaluation period? Before we go on to the next slide, I want to recommend the following, which are the guidelines specifically when designing your plan. Your employee needs to reflect continuously throughout the process. They need to keep records. They need to complete the necessary paperwork with clear objectives and action plan. Spend time working in the business and shadow senior managers. Employees further need to invest in formal learning as well as informal learning for knowledge building. The employees also need to try out new approaches. When we talk about new approaches, we're talking about the secondment, in other words, taking responsibilities within the company that are not theirs, take up non-executive positions for the sake of gaining exposure, and please find a good coach or a mentor. Roles of employer versus employee. The employer in this case is required to invest in its employees' development. Employer also is required to design policies and guidelines, assess, identify the gaps for development, Goals must be clearly defined as what is required from the employee and what are the measurables. Regular assessments, the employee is also involved in that process. The employee on the other side has to take ownership of his work, and continuous development is critical. Employee must be self-motivated. Training should benefit both the employee and the employer. The advantages of CPD. Obviously, we know collective development of teams. It builds teamwork, the ability to keep abreast with what is required by the client, as previously mentioned by my colleague Brandon. In each industry, you need to keep abreast with the new changes in the environment. The objectives are linked to our national policy initiatives. It helps in setting specified plans for ongoing CPD activities. Local partnership forums such as SABP, which is very much important. I'm going to stress the importance of this body when it comes to human resources professionals. The local partnership forums such as SABP, that is the South African Board for People Practices, used formerly known as South African Board for Personal Practitioners. Please, ladies and gentlemen, as HR professionals, it is a very important body that you need to affiliate in. You go to www.sabp.co.za and register yourself. It's very important and informative. The policies regarding the CPD is also found on their website. It is also done in partnership with management. So what is nice about CPD is that it also involves management, because at a senior level, the managers, they need to be part of the process. The difference between CPD and our traditional training. CPD involved that takes place at a strategic level, which is a more senior level. Development must marry the business strategy. So whatever is happening within the employee's development must be linked to the strategy of the business. So that is what is important, because it contributes to the bottom line of the business. Strengthens the relationship between the employee and the employer. There's lots of communication that takes place, the development, the employee is motivated, and the employer is gaining the rewards. High performance work organizations, like I said, the employer is gaining the rewards. Workplace learning takes place, the teamwork, it builds teamwork. Human capital value, that's a return on investment. Employee takes ownership of own development. In other words, the employee must also take ownership. It's not only an employer's prerogative to develop the employee. Before we go to Q&A session, we're going to watch a short video regarding CPD. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are now going to allow for questions. If you would like to ask a question from one of the group members, please raise your hand and we'll now open up for questions. Doing.